Hello and welcome to the third stage of the 2021 Indoor Archery World Series. This year's circuit is the first to combine virtual with live events as the world continues to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. And this ingenious new format has already uncovered some fantastic storylines, not least the first perfect score of the year during last month's stage. I'm Karen Bashir, and the man with all the stories joining me is World Archery's Chris Wells.
Right, Karen. Yeah, we had some fantastic performances in December. Dave Cousins, the 1999 World Archery Champion, making his debut in this virtual format, shooting a perfect 600-point round from his shop in Maine, or his local shop in Maine. We also had Eric Johnson, the Swedish barebow five-time World Field Champion, topping the second consecutive leg. Definitely the king of barebow archery. But really, the greatest story was the number of people around the world that really came together during this pandemic, finding a way to compete, finding a way to take part in this innovative new competition format.
Yeah, a great deal of planning is required in this current climate. And of course, the best plans at the moment are flexible ones. We had, in fact, hoped to be at the World Archery Excellence Centre in Lausanne for an invitational this month. But unfortunately, a regional lockdown has prevented that. So instead, we've been invited to the Dutch National Training Centre in Papendal, where the Netherlands Olympic squad are hosting visitors from Belgium. And in fact, it's about time we get underway. First up, it's the RECURVE Women's Bronze Medal match.
On target, number one on the left, Julie Hellemans from Belgium, taking on Charlotte de Strupe, a little more experience, also from Belgium.
Well, good start required, nervy moments as we get set number one underway. Well, that's a miss, and certainly some nerves out there.
Yeah, difficult start. Not used to this camera setup, not used to this attention, but plenty of time to come back in this match. That's the great thing about the set system.
So de Strupe missing with one of her arrows and dropping the first two set points. It's time for set number two. So the two Belgians will know each other well. Charlotte de Strupe trailing will shoot first in this second set. And another one has gone to the left, making a small adjustment to her sight.
Of course, with this set system, she's got plenty of time to come back into the match.
Yeah, that's the great thing, isn't it? The chance to recover, but missing the target completely. She's got to have a real reset. Still
7 and an 8 with those
drifting
first 2 arrows. She's...
Much stronger shooting, all in the yellow for Julie Hellemans. Just 17 years old, remember. That's better from De Strooper. So another 2 set points for Hellemans, and a really good start from her. But that first arrow in the first set, Chris, has set the tone for Charlotte De Strooper.
Yeah, she's got experience in big competition as well. She shot at the European Games 2 years ago now in Minsk, so she's no stranger to these cameras and dealing with these distractions. But she's going left on the target. It might be the lights, it might just be a little bit of nerves. Hopefully she settles in. She's got plenty of time, 3 more sets potentially in this match to come back.
Yeah, but of course, Julie Hellemans at 17 can do this in the next 3 arrows, and so there is a big chance to get the bronze medal here in Papendal in the first of our medal matches in this live coverage. Recurve discipline being shot today, and this is the Recurve women's bronze medal match. Julie Hellemans leading by 4 set points to 0. Peter Elsinger acting as the agent. It's time for set number 3. So Chris, Charlotte De Strooper up against her teammate here needs to shoot some good arrows right from the start of this third set.
Well, if she loses this set, she's lost the match. She needs to put some pressure on early.
That's much better from her. Another one dropping out there into the red, and an 8. That one going high, so still a mini lead for Charlotte De Strooper. She can put this set out of reach with a 10 now. Into the 9. So a 10 required to share the set points in the third. And she's pulled that one wide as well. So Charlotte De Strooper does get onto the board for the first time in the match. She's pegged back her teammate Julie Hellemans, but still trails by 4 set points to 2. But Chris, a stronger performance there for Charlotte De Strooper.
Yeah, I actually think Julie hit that last 10 she needed, so I think these set points will be shared. But she's got off the mark, Charlotte De Strooper. She just needs to get some points on the board. She's got a long way to get back into this one, but it's possible.
Yeah, well, a good shout there. We need to see what the final judgment is on that third arrow. You can see there in indoor range here, shooting over 18 meters, and the judge and the agent, who in the new regulations is the only one picking up the arrows to limit the number of people involved. And we're waiting
Everyone on
still
site here
confirmation
has,
of the scores. Chris, you were right. Scores in that set were tied, so it's 5-1, and it's time for set number 4. The pressure on and gets a 9, Charlotte Strooper. Interestingly here, Julie Hellemans just needs to match Charlotte Strooper to take this bronze medal, and a big opportunity has just presented itself. 7-4 Strooper means Hellemans could take a commanding lead right now, but just look at that. When the opportunity presented itself, Julie Hellemans shot a 6. So now out of reach here. And a better final arrow from Julie Hellemans, but the set points going to Charlotte Strooper, subject to confirmation. Chris, it's a game of taking the opportunities when they come, and Julie Hellemans just didn't grab hold of that one there.
No, the door was open. She only needs a single set point to win this match, having already accrued 5. So she only needs to tie the set with Charlotte. Just couldn't quite grab it when it was necessary. Still got the advantage in this one. Still goes in as the favourite into this 5th and final set, though.
Yeah, it will, of course, be De Strooper who will shoot first again in the 5th and potentially final set, unless De Strooper can secure both set points. So 5-3 after 4 sets in this RECURVE Women's Bronze medal match. Arrows retrieved. It's time for set number 5. So some confidence will have been gained from Charlotte Strooper in the previous couple of sets. She will shoot first in the 5th and needs to get the higher score over the 3 arrows. Second 9 there for De Strooper. Couple of deep breaths there from Hellemans. Remember, she's just 17 years old. And that has clipped the line of the 10 for me and will be marked as a 10. So mini advantage to Hellemans. And into the 10 for a 28 for De Strooper, her best shooting in this bronze medal match, but a big opportunity now for Hellemans to claim the Papendal Invitational RECURVE Women's Bronze. Oh, big wobble at the end, and you saw the grimace, and just look at that. That's popped out potentially into the 7, and it looks to me like Charlotte De Strooper has managed to pull this one back from 4-0 down. It looks to me like it will be 5 apiece. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. This will be the first televised shoot-off we've had for this Indoor Archery World Series. It looks like Julie Hellemans with an opportunity to take it with that last arrow. That's a lack of experience showing through potentially. Only really competed internationally in junior ranks, cadet ranks up until now. Big pressure on this single arrow shoot-off.
Yeah, 1 arrow. And are they likely to clean the targets, get fresh targets for this shoot-off?
You'd expect so. You'd expect so. Down at the other end, we've got our judge and very, very, very experienced international archer in Peter Elzinger. Looks like they're going to change the targets, put some fresh ones up. Obviously, not so many archers or not so many support staff in the venue as would be normal at a competition. So COVID restrictions, all these archers here have to have a negative PCR test to attend the event. Trying to keep the number of people inside this facility, which the Dutch training, just the Dutch Olympic team used to train on a regular basis, to as few as possible.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, the event has actually been, well, we were originally supposed to be at the World Archery Excellence Centre in Lausanne, but regional lockdown there prevented us from going there, which is what's brought us to this Dutch National Training Centre in Papendal, where they, as Chris said, the Dutch Olympic squad train, and they are hosting visitors from Belgium as allowed within the rules and regulations. It looks like the targets are ready. So Chris, as you say, 1 arrow each for the bronze medal here.
1 arrow each, and they have to shoot in the centre of the vertical triple spots. Closest to the middle wins.
Well, just making the rules clear to both these athletes. I'm sure they know the rules anyway, but it will be Charlotte de Struper, the 21-year-old from Belgium, up against her 17-year-old teammate, who will shoot first. 1 arrow closest to the centre will take the Papendal individual recurve women's bronze medal. Well, an opportunity here for Julie Hellemans.
Big gap in between that arrow and the middle of the target.
Oh, it's close. First glance, I think Hellemans has just done it. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, the angles on those arrows are slightly different. I think Charlotte is a bit thinner as well, but all a bit of a optical illusion potentially, but I think it's clear. I think Julie Hellemans a little bit higher, a little bit closer towards the middle.
And it looks like that is a concession there from Charlotte de Struper, who did remarkably well, having dropped an arrow in the first set, going on to go 4 set points to 0 down, and then slowly fought her way back into the match. Nervy moments for her 17-year-old opponent, but in the end it came down to a single arrow, and it was Julie Hellemans who took the bronze here in Papendal. Chris, an interesting first match here on this recurve Saturday. That first arrow looked like it was curtains for de Struper, but she did recover well.
And that's the beautiful thing about the set system. Obviously, a few nerves. They've been shooting their qualification round here this morning in Papendal, but even if it's just a few archers, a small event, as soon as you put those cameras out in there in the field, you've got a bit more show and pizzazz around it. No crowd, of course. And the pressure piles up, and she just felt it in that first set. The third arrow of the first set went high, went left, missed the target, but she recovered. Those set points gone, took it to a shoot-off, but just couldn't quite deliver with that last arrow to complete the comeback.
No, not quite there, but great performance from Julie Hellemans. 17 years old, has gained a bag of experience here in front of television cameras at the Dutch Olympic Archery Training Centre, and has bagged the bronze medal to boot. To take a look back over some of the shots, Chris, worth mentioning how big this event is. We talked about the combined virtual and live events coming together to form this series. How many people around the world have taken part so far?
These 15, 20 archers in Papendal are part of the 5,000 that have registered to compete in this remote stage of the Indoor Archery World Series. Plenty of clubs and ranges around the world running little events just like this, obviously without the cameras that we've put in, just to show you some live archery competitions, some match play. Thousands and thousands of archers in nearly 100 countries around the world participating in this month's stage of the Remote Indoor Archery World Series.
Yeah, and as you say, that there have been some tremendous stories around the field, and the numbers involved in this do mean that there's opportunities for archers that perhaps we don't normally see.
We've seen some archers compete that usually compete in alternative formats of the sport move over to this style, like the last year's Vegas champion.
Well, no time to rest on that one. It's time to switch over to the RECURVE Women's Gold Medal match. So, Chris, over to you for the lineup for this final.
All right, target on the left, target number 1, Gabi Schlosser. She won our first Invitational in Volen and came second in Lausanne. On the right, Laura van der Winkel, very talented young Dutch archer. Before Gabi moved across from Mexico, of course, former Olympian with the Mexican team. She was widely seen as the female member of the potential mixed team that will be very strong for the Netherlands in the lead up to the Tokyo Games. Now, obviously, 2 very talented female archers shooting with the Dutch Olympic training squad.
Well, it's time to go for gold, and it's time for set number 1. So Schlosser shooting first and going a little low and a little left, potentially into the 8. Laura van der Winkel, 19 years old, a Dutch teammate, as Chris said, ranked 21 in the series coming into this tournament. That looks like it's just clipped the 10 ring. And got better and better for Schlosser in that first set through the 3 arrows, but opportunity for van der Winkel to take the points here. And she does indeed. It's looks like a 10-10-9 for her, so a 29 will be enough to take the points.
Gabi, the vastly more experience on the international stage, but I think Laura started faster. I think she'll take these first 2 set points. Both obviously trained together a lot, know how each other shoot, but neither will want to hand the other a victory in front of the cameras.
You mentioned a faster start from Laura there, but actually the speed of the shooting of both these athletes is much more rapid than the bronze medal match.
Archers who are more comfortable in the arena obviously will keep their normal rhythm, their normal routine and their normal speed better than those who get more nerves. When you get nervous, you tighten up, you don't have that same fluid action that you might normally have in practice. Both these archers probably not so worried in front of the cameras as our bronze medalists, probably a little more comfortable in their flow.
Well, it is time for set number 2 already. Schlosser into the 10 ring, so a better start for her than the first set. But look at that. Dialed into the center is Laura van der Winkel. And look at that, a perfect 30 from Schlüsser, but it's 4 10s in a row so far for Laura van der Winkel. And she's made it 5, and it's a perfect score for her as well. So the set points will be shared. Laura van der Winkel will maintain her 2-point lead, 3-1 after 2 sets. I've got to say, Chris, Laura's looking cool as ice here. She's shot pretty well throughout this event as well.
Yeah, they shot a very close qualification around 576, 575, but Laura's semi-final was significantly better than Gabby's. She's only got a 2-set-point lead here, but if she's going to continue shooting perfect sets, continue hitting those 10, it's going to be difficult to Gabby to claw her way back into this match.
Yeah, but a good perfect score from Schlüsser as well, and that starts potentially to play tricks on the mind of your opponent when someone you know is as good as Schlüsser can be. As you said, first and second in the first 2 events, will finish at least second in this event. She's a formidable opponent even when she's behind. Well, she is trailing. She will shoot first. It's time for set number 3. Just drifting out into the 9. It's yet another 10 for van der Winkel. Pulled that one further to the right. Big opportunity here. Oh, that's a 9, her first one since her very first arrow of this gold medal match. A correction from Schlüsser puts her back into the 10 ring. And it's back into the 10 ring for van der Winkel, a 29 for her, up against a 27 for Schlüsser. And it's a commanding 5 set points to 1 lead for Laura van der Winkel. Chris, were you expecting this to be, well, I don't want to say one-sided, but it's such a dominant display from van der Winkel here?
No, absolutely. Laura van der Winkel really showing off some talent in this gold medal match. That little look of disappointment on Gabby's face when she shot the wide arrow. She knows she's got to really pull something out of the bag to keep up with Laura here, and she actually needs Laura to make a mistake. Can't even tie a set here to remain competitive in the match.
Yeah, it's a commanding lead for van der Winkel. If she can hold her nerve here, she is definitely the favourite. 5-1 for the 19-year-old, up against a teammate and training partner, Gabriele Schlüsser. And the 26-year-old Schlüsser will shoot first in set number 4. Needs a good start, and a 10 is just that. Just staying inside 10 ring, perhaps touching the line, or maybe that has just about squeezed its way in. Well, it's another 30 for Schlüsser, but could be another 30 for van der Winkel and the gold medal. Now it looks like that one is touching the line. Chris, I'm reluctant to call it a 10 just yet. What are your thoughts?
No, I think that's hit the line. Laura van der Winkel, really, really impressive display in this gold medal match. With the pressure on from Gabby, even in that last set when she shot 3 perfect tens. Calm, delivered the arrows she needed to do, and it looks like she's taken this in a really impressive fashion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And when Schlesser wobbled, she capitalised, and there is confirmation that Laura van der Winkel has taken the Papendal Invitational Recurve Women's gold medal here today. A fabulous performance. And as I was saying, even when there was an opportunity, van der Winkel took it, and when Schlesser shot a 30, it was matched by van der Winkel. And what's so impressive was how cool and calm she was, Chris.
Yeah, fantastic performance. Gabby, we said she was more experienced, but both of these have shot on the international level. But Laura van der Winkel really, really coming into her own as an archer over this year that we haven't seen them compete, and during this COVID blackout, so to speak. We don't know how many of these young archers have really developed in the competition arena. Looks like Laura van der Winkel is one of them. Looking forward to seeing her compete when we get back to international events in a kind of normal way next year or this coming season.
Yeah, a big win for van der Winkel. I give her bags of confidence, and so stunningly calm about her process as well. One to look out for, given the fact that she is just 19 years old. Now, there are rumours that we are going to have some words from Laura van der Winkel. Watch on as you do. Just taking a look back, in fact, at Gabby Schlesser's shots there. She pulled right a few times in the third set, which opened the door again for van der Winkel. And I don't think she was quite 100% happy, as you see there, with everything that happened today. But another silver medal in this Indoor World Series for Gabby Schlesser, probably, well, definitely the most consistent in the recurve women's archery discipline. And it looks like we are going to get that interview with the gold medalist here in Papendal. Let's go down to the floor to hear what Laura van der Winkel has to say.
Great performance. You must be happy.
Yes, thank you. I'm really happy. I'm glad I could keep my nose in control so that I could shoot the match and win eventually.
The last arrow, you needed a 10 to win. Any doubts about his mind?
No, I had no doubt in my mind. I was just concentrating on my shot, trusting in myself and shooting the 10.
Are you looking forward to return to the competitions?
Yes, I've missed the competitions a lot because, well, the last competition I had was the Dutch Nationals outdoor in September, so it's been a bit boring for training sometimes, but I'm really looking forward to next season, if there's any.
How do you keep your motivation so high?
Well, I'm still learning a lot and training a lot, so I'm developing. So this is really my time to develop a lot to come back better next season.
Great stuff there from Laura van der Winkel. Impressive on the range for sure. Very cool, calm and collected, as she said, but also very, very eloquent indeed. Chris, certainly someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah, fantastic performance from her in this small finals arena, this compact finals arena. Someone who seems to have really taken a step forward over the last 12 months. Or the period we've had on hiatus since the last major international competition. So definitely one to watch when we return to the World Cup circuit, hopefully in April.
Yeah, interesting as well that Laura there is with archery being such a mental discipline in terms of your process that you go through, having that kind of approach and that positive approach to looking at training as a development. She's talking about still learning stuff. That could be a huge advantage to her when we come back to competition as we used to know it. But these online events certainly offering a massive opportunity to all the archers out there, and of course all of you at home who are able to watch archery live. That is the women's side of the competition all done and dusted. But Chris, we have got the men's two medal matches coming up very shortly. A bit more about this Indoor World Series, because this is the first of a bit of a back-to-back set of events.
Over the next month and a half, we've got 4 events to finish off this indoor circuit, but it looks like we're heading to the recurve men's bronze medal match already.
There you go. As soon as I ask you a question, the athletes come out. But we'll come back to that. We have got more events coming up. But now it's time for the recurve men's bronze medal match. And 2 athletes, both from the Netherlands here. One perhaps a little bit more familiar than the other. Chris, over to you to let us know the lineup for this bronze medal match.
One more familiar than the other. On the left target, on target number 1, we got Chef Vandenberg, 4th place at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, and on the right, Rick van der Ven, 4th place at the London 2012 Olympic Games. 2 fantastic Dutch archers. Rick, really the trailblazer for this current crop of talented recurve men in the Netherlands, joined now by Chef and Steve and plenty of others. 2 of which we'll see in the gold medal match.
Yeah, well, looks like Chef on target number 1 is all ready to go, but it will be Rick van der Ven who will shoot first in set number 1. Well, a 9 followed by a 10 for Rick there on target number 2, ranked 10th in this series coming into this competition. Vandenberg here ranked 7th, pulls that one a little bit left, so all square. Best arrow so far from the pair, a 29 for Van der Ven. Oh, that one is very close. Chris, has that clipped the 10 ring, or is that going to be another 9 for Chef?
I wouldn't like to call that. That's why we have a judge walking down to the target to check whether that bottom arrow on Chef's target has caught the line and will be upgraded to a 10 from a 9. Change the start of this match if it is. We'll get Chef off the big 0 on set points.
With 2 athletes who know each other so well and train together so well, how important is the start of a match like this?
No archer ever wants to lose a match, so no matter the circumstance, as we look on, they've both been given 1 set point, so that was upgraded to a 10. 29 plays 29. And with that score, we reset to 0 effectively. 5 set points needed now to win the match. Either of them can do it.
Yeah, so the start, I think, as you say, as you're alluding to, very, very crucial. They're all square after 1. Let's see if someone can pull out a lead. It's time for set number 2. So Rick van der Ven will shoot first again with the scores all level. And into the 9 again. Just a little bit of a longer hold there from Vandenberg. Another close one there. I'm marking it on my scorecard as a 9, but with a little star next to it, meaning that could get marked up. Vandenberg, another 10, so had the advantage in this second set, however that second arrow from Rick is scored. Not happy with that one. And that is why. That is a definite 8. So big opportunity here for Vandenberg to grab the 2 points. And he duly does so with a perfect 30. He's found the middle of the target, Chris, Chef Vandenberg.
Yeah, he absolutely has. Only that 1-9 in the first set so far. Rick, bottom arrow, went high into the 8. It's not the end of the world in a set system match, but he's now on the back foot, and against another experienced dancer like Chef, even an early deficit can be the end of it.
Yeah. Well, you can see the two talking to each other. They're obviously close enough to do that. You wouldn't necessarily see that a World Cup competition, but here the conditions have changed somewhat given the circumstances around the globe. But it hasn't really changed what we are used to seeing from Vandenberg in recent times. He leads by 3 set points to 1 after 2 sets in this recurve men's bronze medal match. Peter Elzinger again acting as our agent, recovering the arrows, an international archer of some note himself. It is already time for set number 3. So Chris, it's really important here for Rick van der Ven to start well in this 3rd set.
Absolutely. He needs to put some pressure on Chef and hope he can get inside his head and force him to make a mistake.
Well, that's the first arrow of the set to go into the 10 ring for Rick, and matched by Vandenberg. Chef Vandenberg has found the center of the target. Well, a perfect 30 for Rick van der Ven. But is it going to be number 7 in a row for Chef Vandenberg? It certainly is, and it's a perfect 30 for him as well. So the set points will be shared, and that means that Chef Vandenberg will go into a 4-2 lead after 3 sets. Chris, it looks like Rick's found the center of the target as well as Chef, just 3 arrows too far behind.
And at this level, you're either in or you're out. It's a very, very small target they're going at, just a 4-centimeter 10 ring. These recurve archers at this level, this talented, you either hit the middle or you miss the middle. And in that 2nd set, Rick just missed the middle. It didn't matter whether it was a 9 or an 8, it just wasn't in the middle. And that's what's put him behind in this one. He needs Chef to make the same kind of mistake, stop hitting those perfect 10s, those 30s, if he's going to claw back into this one. Otherwise, all Chef needs to do is coast to the victory.
Yeah, in a commanding position and looking very comfortable indeed. The range is clear, and it's time for set number 4. Rick van der Ven, 29 years old, shooting at first. And it's another 10 for him, his 4th in a row. And that's number 8 in a row for Chef Vandenberg. Chris, you mentioned the 4-centimeter target, the 10 ring in the center of the target. These guys are used to shooting over 70 meters, and of course this is just 18 meters, but that target is just so much smaller. But there are, of course, other factors that come into play.
Absolutely. You see Chef shooting top middle and then the bottom targets in order of his triple spot. There's small changes in height angles, but they do affect style and setup of technique. And you'll see many archers have a good target and a bad target, are better at different spots in the order.
Yeah, affects the process aiming just ever so slightly differently. Another 10 here from Chef required, and that looks like he has just about made it. So 2 perfect 30s from both the archers in a row. The set point shared again. Van den Berg leading by 5 points to 3. Chris, just on that point, you mentioned to me earlier about this the movement and the fact that the shoulder is in a slightly different position for each of the 3 targets here, the vertical targets. So you would argue that consistency is even more important at this shorter distance.
Consistency is everything in archery, whatever distance you're shooting at. When you normally change distances or kind of change angle, if you're shooting field archery where you can have angles up and downhill, you normally twist from the core rather than from your arms, because if you change your arms, you change the whole setup of the shot. At short distance with these tiny little changes in angles, it's different to make that change from the core rather than the arms, and that's why you'll see some inconsistencies creep in, particularly on the top target and the bottom target.
Well, can they both stay consistent, and can Rick van der Ven get back into the match? It's set number 5. Well, first 9 since the first set for Chef. Mini opportunity
error,
here
but
for
that's
Rick.
the error that Rick needed.
Capitalised as well. Another 10 from him. Chef van den Berg needs to put a little bit more pressure on with another 10. Something we know he's more than capable of. There we go. But a 10 here from Rick van den Ven will bring the match all square. Can he hit his 9th 10 in a row? Oh, that looks like it's drifted high and left. It is a 9. So a 10 required from Chef van den Berg to take the point he needs to take bronze here in Papendal. And it is indeed a 10. It's a 29 apiece from both athletes in the 5th set. They share the points, but it does mean that Chef van den Berg takes bronze here in Papendal, 6 set points to 4. Chris, there was an opportunity there for Rick, and it looked like he'd taken it by scoring a second 10 in a row in the 5th and final set, but just pulled out of the last one. And in fact, as we look there, it looks like, well, there's certainly the confirmation of the win for Chef van den Berg. There it is. The scores are marked at 30 from the previous set, of course. But there was an opportunity for Rick, and it just seemed to squeeze a little bit on the final arrow.
Yeah, I mean, the mistake that Rick was waiting for was there with Chef's first shot of that 5th end set. He didn't push it much high, but he pushed it high enough, just out of the 10 ring in the 9, and that was the opening Rick needed. Couldn't quite deliver his most critical 10 of the match with that 3rd and final arrow of the 5th set. If he'd done that, he would have forced a shoot off. Wasn't able to. Chef takes the win, and the only difference really was that 8 point shot in the 2nd set from Rick van der Ven. Small margins here in indoor archery.
Yeah, the opportunity presented itself for Rick. He didn't quite grab it in the end, but testament to the consistency of this man, Chef van den Berg. Didn't let that 9 rattle him in the final set. Recovered to a 29 to share the points and take the bronze here in Papendal. Well, they are just resetting things for our final match in this coverage, the recurve men's gold medal match. Chris, we are just focused on recurve today. Is that another part of the COVID regulations that have been put in place to make this competition safe and happen?
Absolutely. This is the Olympic Training Centre in Papendal. At the moment, they're only allowed their kind of resident athletes there with a recurve squad, obviously the Olympic discipline. They were able to bring in recurves to compete with the resident squad from Belgium, but adding more categories, especially in this small range, just wasn't viable. Given the COVID regulations and the number of people permitted to be on site, as I said, everyone had to have negative PCR tests as well. So we decided just to go with the recurve competitions for today. We'll be back though in 2 weeks' time with coverage from Nîmes and have our full slate of recurve and compound finals.
Back to what we used to. And it's back to the action here in Papendal. It's time for the recurve men's gold medal match. And it's over to Chris Wells to introduce our athletes.
Target number 1 on the left, Gijs Brooksma. Fantastic shot this morning, 5.94 for the 60-hour 18-meter round up against Steve Weiler. Very, very experienced international archer, still only 24, 25 years old, but he's won the Indoor World Series and he won our last Invitational at the World Archery Excellence Center in Lausanne, shooting 12 perfect arrows to beat Germany's Florian Unruh now, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Weiler winning in Lausanne, as Chris said, with a perfect score, up against Gijs Brooksma, who is shooting first in set number 1. And straight into the middle of the target. Just what he needs. That in performance in Lausanne from this man, Steve Weiler, was pretty impressive, Chris. Are we expecting more of the same here?
Well, Steve shot more of the same in his semi-final match, shooting another 12 perfect 10s to advance to this final against Gijs, but that one's on the edge. I think he's going to get the 10. Oh, a great start from Steve.
Tickling the line there, but that will get marked as a 10 as well. So both on perfect scores provisionally. And you have to say, Brooksma is much closer to the center of the target, but we are talking, well, less than a centimeter here in difference. Another 10, they all count, doesn't matter where they are in that inner ring. If it's squeezed in, it is a 10, and it looks like a perfect 30 from both archers, Chris.
Yeah, that first arrow from Steve will be critical. I think it's hit the right side of the line. If he hasn't, he'll be trailing early in this one. And as Gijs has shown today, he's got the talent and the level to take this all the way if he gets a little advantage early on.
Yeah, that first arrow from Weiler, as Chris said, critical. I suspect it is just clipping the line, but as Chris has mentioned before, sometimes the angles can trick you a little bit here, so we do have to wait for confirmation. It does look like it is a perfect 30 for the pair of them. Like I said, doesn't matter where the arrow ends up in the 10 ring, a 10 is a 10 is a 10, and they both got 3 of them in the first set. It's time for set number 2. So Gijs will shoot first again. And number 4. Another close one for Weiler. Still dancing around the ring, Steve Violet. That one looks more solid at 10, and it's another perfect score from Geis. That is 230s in a row, just what he needs to put some pressure on this man. Well, I was about to say it's all going to come down to that first arrow, but Steve Violet has shot a definite 9 in his third arrow, so that's provisionally a 28. Could get marked up to a 29. Chris, points definitely for this man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens with that top arrow. I'd like to know still that last arrow from Steve pushed left. It just goes to show, you know, even against experienced archers, putting that pressure on and building up those 10s, it does build in someone's mind as well. Nothing wrong with Steve's last shot. He just wasn't as comfortable, pulled it to the side. All of his arrows aren't hitting the very middle like Geis's. They're tickling around the edge of the 10 ring, as you said. It's a sign of someone who's not quite in his groove.
Yeah, but he is in the gold medal match. He will be going into set number 3, trailing, as we can see, confirmed on the scoreboard there, trailing by 3 set points to 1. But it's another repeat of the women's gold medal match where the fancied front runner is behind and their opponent shooting very well. It's time for set number 3. So trailing, Steve Violet will shoot first in this third set. Possibly his best arrow. Well, it's definitely, in fact, his best arrow so far in the match. Wow, this man, he's struggling to miss the very center of the target. That's an agonizingly long hold, but it is a perfect 30 again for Steve Violet, second in the match. Can he hold his nerve? Yes, he can, and that's 10, number 9. That's 3 consecutive perfect scores for Gijs Bruksma. The 21-year-old Dutchman is leading his compatriot now by 4 set points to 2 as the pair share the points in the third set. Another impressive performance from a young Dutch archer, Chris.
Yeah, unbelievably impressive, actually. He's not just been hitting the 10 ring for the recurve, 4 centimeters across, but the compound archers not shooting this weekend in Papendal shoot a 2 centimeter 10 ring, even smaller. I don't think he's even missed that. Really, really impressive, consistent, and very accurate shooting. All of Steve's arrows have landed low of the middle of the target. I'd expect him to be making adjustments earlier on. We're 9 arrows into the match now. It hasn't really cost him because that one that went wide went to the left. The height wouldn't have made any difference, but you know, a little bit low, if you just miss by a millimeter and it changes the outcome, that's an unforgivable mistake.
Well, can he get back into it? It's set number 4. Violet trailing by 2 set points. Well, it's a 10. But Chris, just starting to get a feeling that Violet's just holding on a little bit longer than we're used to with him.
Steve's never been one for a quick, fluid shot, especially in match play. He's one of those more determined, I'll make it go in the middle kind of archers. When it works, but right there, that's another 9.
Opportunity for Guys here. And it is another 10. Just dropping 1 point could prove fatal for Steve Weiler. I'd argue he needs a 10 here to stay in the match. It is a 10, but a 29. Will we get the 12th 10 from Geis now and the gold medal? Well, it does indeed look like it is 12 10s and 4 perfect scores for Geis Bruxma, the 21-year-old. He's looking pretty confident, and for me, he's taken this match in fine form against the, well, 4th ranked athlete in this series at the moment, and his teammate, Steve Weiler. Chris, an incredible performance.
Yeah, fantastic shooting from Geis. He's rotated into the Dutch team for internationals a few times in his career, but he's around that kind of 4th, 3rd spot. Not the 4th, 3rd spot here today. Definitely deserved winner. Fantastic shooting in that final. 4 perfect 10s. Really, really, really impressive.
Very impressive indeed. The 21-year-old Geis Bruxma from the Netherlands takes the gold here in Papendal. Well, they are recovering the arrows, and like I say, we are promised interviews with our gold medalists here. We did hear from Laura and Winkel, who took the recurve women's gold medal just a little bit earlier on, and we're likely to hear from Geis very shortly. Chris, a great competition, and again, the stories of these youngsters, and perhaps not really unknowns, but opportunities for people that we don't often see to get their moment in the spotlight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really enlightening, actually, especially in a year or after a year where we haven't really seen these guys compete. Those ones that have been training hard, training for what's to come, the delayed Olympics, when we return to competition, and they've really shone out. Geis and Laura, not the top members of the Dutch team, but have come out on top here today.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from them. And yeah, the delay of the Olympics and the delay of regular competition is hard for everyone involved, but in particular the athletes and their support teams. So to have competitions like this for them right now, when we are tentatively trying to get back to competitions as we know it, is a fantastic thing for not only you at home and us being able to watch it live, but for these athletes to get a taste of what it's like being in proper competition again. As we look back at Geis, again, like Laura in the women's gold medal match, looked very, very composed throughout and shot a perfect score to take gold 6-2 over teammate Steve Weiler. Showing his emotion right at the end. Weiler happy with the silver, but it looks like we are just about ready to go and speak to our men's gold medalist.
Ja. Gijs. Mijn naam is Gijs en ik ben een boer, schaapboer.
Yeah?
Ja.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys.
Thank
Fantastic
you.
level. How do you feel about your performance?
Oh, great. It was a pretty good final, so yeah, pretty pleased with that.
Beating Steve, always satisfying, right?
Yeah. Steve is quite good in my eyes too, so I was quite nervous. So it's a super good feeling to win, and a super good feeling to win here.
12 straight 10s. Does it get more difficult at the men's process?
Well, I get more nervous with each arrow, but today I knew to manage it, so that was great.
Congrats, great shoot.
Thank you. Thanks.
Gloriously understated, Chris. Guys, it's always good. He's pretty good, Steve Weiler.
Pretty good, yeah, he's very talented, but Geis today showing he can hang with the best of the Dutch team. Fantastic performance, 12 straight 10s as we saw, not even in doubt, none of them on the line. Well-deserved win from this young member of the Dutch Olympic team.
Yeah, great performances, great gold medal matches. In fact, both the bronze medal matches were entertaining and interesting as well. But that's it from Papendal. Laura van der Winkel taking the recurve women's gold, and Gijs Bruxma taking the recurve men's gold. Our next event, well, it's a bonus stage in the Sud de France Nîmes archery tournament in just a couple of weeks' time. Thank you to you, Chris.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.